companies fail. And so I want to talk to you about growth hacking and the mindset that I think you need to grow your business. Now, why should you listen to me? Just because I came all the way over here? No. I've been doing this for 15 years. I myself drove 3 early stage startup exits as a head of marketing, worth over $400 and some million. And I wrote a book called the Startup Growth Book. That's, if you go to Google, Startup Growth Book, you'll find it. It's very famous. And I've consulted. This is my 15th country where I've spoken about this stuff. So I know a thing or two about building growth at the early stages of a startup. So what is growth hacking? Does everybody know what this term is? I could skip over this slide. I don't need to go into it. Cool, I'll skip over the definition. For me, it starts with the mindset. There's a really big difference from being a marketer at a traditional big company where you can clock out at 5 p.m. and you don't have to worry about work until Monday, to being the chief everything officer or the first marketing hire at a company and having to grow something that is starting at square zero. And so I wanted to go over a couple concepts, I think, that will, if you can keep this in your mind when you're trying to grow your business, it's gonna help you be more successful. The first thing, I don't know where it is, but it's all about creating value. If your business, if you're setting out with your business to just make money, you're not gonna have the passion that you need to really put in those crazy amount of hours. That passion needs to be reflected in your marketing. So if you're thinking about how to acquire more users, think about how to create more value than anybody else. That's number one. It's all about value. And once you really feel confident in that value that you're creating, I want you to start to get really aggressive for thinking of ways that you can put that value out. You know, like, we don't talk about the word spam when I work with companies, because if we're targeting the right people with enough value, there is no such thing as spam. It really isn't. If you get a text message from your favorite restaurant, SMS, from your favorite restaurant with 20 euros in credit, you didn't ask for that message, but it's your favorite restaurant. It's a pretty valuable message. You're gonna like it. So that's really important to think when you're thinking of new ways to grow your business. You know, you don't have a ton of marketing resources. You have to be aggressive. But if you're in the back of your mind at all times, you're thinking that I'm creating more value. I'm helping these people. I'm saving them from the other competitors that are not giving as much value, then that enables you to be really aggressive with your marketing. The second or third thing, I don't remember how I said, is user experience and customer satisfaction are paramount to everything. I don't care if I make a bad mistake with the marketing, as long as every person that sees my stuff, that starts to work with my product, my company, is having a good experience, then I can keep pushing and trying and testing new marketing ideas. Because in the end, I'm just trying to create value. I'm not trying to take value. And when you reframe that in your mind, I think you can grow your business much more. Another thing I've noticed over the past 15 years working with early stage startups is that the best startups are reactionary, not preventative. They're not scared about accidentally pissing a user off or accidentally making a competitor mad because we use their name in some of our ads or something. We're reactionary, we react. Because you're an early stage company, you're not gonna get sued, nothing's gonna happen. As long as you are not the founder getting drunk and saying racist things on social media or something, you're gonna be fine. You have to be aggressive and you have to test everything and let your analytics tell you if it was a good test or not. You don't go off of your gut, you don't go off previous companies. Past performance is not indicative of future performance, a famous stock marketing or stock investing quote. It's the same thing here. You have to let the data tell you, which brings me to my next thing. I made up this term ROTI because at early stages of startups, you don't have money. And you're always waiting, we're gonna get this money, then we're gonna do this, Andrew. We're gonna raise this money, then we're gonna do this, Andrew. And instead, I want you to start thinking of your time like money in the beginning. You only have so much time. We have the same amount of time in the day as Jeff Bezos or any other billionaire, startup founder, whatever. So you have to spend your time as wisely and analyze how your time investment is going on marketing or on all aspects of the business. If you only have 1 hour a day to spend on marketing, you're the solo founder, you're the only person at your company, you're doing a few different things. Usually I see startup founders spending their time very frivolously, not really analyzing it, and you can start to scale up what's working if you're looking at getting a return on that time investment. And I'll skip over this fast because most people really know it, but you'd be surprised how many people, probably even sitting in this room right now, don't know what their core KPIs, the key performance indicators of their business growth are. You need to become obsessed with that. If you have an office, I say put a TV screen up with the metrics on there, and literally that's the first thing you look at every day. What are the core metrics? Are you tracking them? If not, you can't do anything else. If you leave this conference with only, or this talk with only one thing, it's that you have to know every day what are the status of those core metrics for your business, because that's what's going to help you be more aggressive and know that traction is coming from where, right? So getting into the meat of the talk, because I'm right on time, there's really two types of ways that you can grow your company with no money right away. You can do it from today, no matter what resources you have. There's hacking your product to add more virality. That means, finding the places in your user experience, your customer experience, your client's experience where they're the happiest and most excited to create a virality for you. You can create more opportunities for them to share on social media. You can push them to refer others, and you can basically start to grow your company effortlessly by injecting that organically into your product. And I'm going to talk about a couple examples from my career and also from famous companies that you probably know about. And the other thing is hacking existing channels. Where are your core customers spending their time online, and how can you get inside of that environment to create brand awareness without spending any money? That is what growth hacking boils down to, those two things. Now, before the term came out, I've been doing this a long time, super old if you can't tell. We called it aggressive online marketing or guerrilla marketing. People throw those terms around. So growth hacking is really just the term. So some stories, let me get into this. So you can read on here, but I won't say the name. This is a real screenshot from, 8 or 9 years ago of a very, very famous company that figured out a way to growth hack the largest website, pretty much the largest website in the United States, to get traffic and users from for free. Basically, it's a short-term listings, property listings website, and they figured out a way with one click to allow their users to post their listings on Craigslist. Anybody know what Craigslist is here? 50 billion page views a month, and multi-$100 million company in San Francisco. Anyway, Craigslist, super old company. They weren't looking at this stuff, and after 6 months, they got a cease and desist letter. What did I say? Be reactionary. They weren't scared about getting sued by this big company. They were like, let's see what happens. That company's Airbnb. This is how Airbnb became famous. They don't publicize this, they don't talk about it. They say that it was because they had good photos. It's because they hacked into Craigslist, and they got all of their listings on a .org that was 25 years old that has 50 billion visits a month. So that is how Airbnb became famous. They growth hacked their way to fame. Not everybody has a developer who can go and see that there's a vulnerability in the code of a billion-dollar company and put their content on there. Here's a couple examples from San Francisco, that are real, a couple years old maybe, you can see, but this is like a PayPal-like money sending website in the United States where I had a developer friend of mine receive a 1 penny notification, and the startup said, hey, we'd love to get your opinion on our app, a penny for your thoughts, and they sent that out to thousands and thousands of people for 20, 30 euros. And everybody gets a notification and an SMS and an email that they got money sent to them. So of course they're going to check it. That doesn't take any skills. Thinking about ways to grow your business like that, that's what growth hacking is all about. This is an even easier, silly thing that completely worked. This is a fake parking ticket in San Francisco that a startup made. Like I said, there's no such thing as spam if there's enough value in your message. This is $30 or 24 euros or something of credit for a meal service type thing in San Francisco. They put these all over the cars one day in San Francisco, and everybody ran to social media like this, screaming, saying this company's stupid, they're never gonna work. Well, I saw the founder 2 weeks later, 3,000% increase in paid users in 2 weeks. And because all of that social media boost, all of the PR that they got, there's really no such thing as bad PR at the early stage of your business if you have enough value in your message. People are gonna talk bad about that ticket and then slide that credit back in their back pocket, and maybe I'll check it out later, right? So these are some examples from some other companies. So for me, these are 2 companies that were acquired that I was head of marketing for a while ago. And I wanted to tell stories that I did personally. I did growth hacks that led to both of these exits. The one on the bottom, in case we don't have enough time, I'll start there. This is a classified site like Craigslist in the Middle East. I know there's one guy from the Middle East here I met. I started my career in Dubai a long time ago. And this company had very little budgets. It was 2 American guys. They were working on it for 5 years and never went anywhere. And I joined, and we had a again, growth hacking, the term didn't exist. So I had carte blanche, I had freedom to test crazy ideas. And I think that's what growth hacking is really about. Back then, marketing was very separated from development, and now it's much more joined together, and that's really what growth hacking is about. You have to really join those two sciences. So one Friday evening, I'm having beers with the development team, and I'm throwing out ideas, and they're like, no, that's stupid, Andrew. No, that's stupid, Andrew. And then I was like, what if we build a scraping technology or a script that will grab all the mobile numbers of our competitors' websites and categorize it by what they're listing on the site, and then maybe we can send them an SMS and tell them our site is better. They were like, that's a good idea. So someone built the script, we came back on the next workday 3 days later, and we had 60,000 mobile numbers categorized by what they were listing on the site. It's fully legal in that country to send bulk SMSs through the government, 2 pennies per text. We sent out our first 2,000, 1,000 people signed up on the website that day. So we just kept doing that and doing that and doing that. In a few months, there was no competitors. We had a much better, much safer, much more secure service for those users. We wanted to protect them. It was the only tool, the only site in the region where you had to have a local mobile number to participate. So no more scamming, no more catfishing, getting ripped off. We're trying to help people. I'm not trying to just steal them from those competitors. I'm trying to help those people create value, right? That company was acquired first for 150, then fully acquired for a total of $400 million. The next one, I was at an early stage startup in San Francisco years later, and we only raised a little tiny bit of money just to build an algorithm, B2B SaaS company with a multi-million-dollar product, very small amount of total customers. How do you do marketing when there's only 10 total customers? eDreams type websites were our customers. And so what I did was, I built a PR campaign around a white paper that I wrote for free myself. I researched, and it was a travel personalization technology company. Kind of boring, but for a small subset of people, they really care about this, right? I'm trying to create value. Nobody's talking about the future of this little tiny thing, so I wrote the white paper myself. I'm not an expert on this, but nobody else is talking about it. I want to create value for these people. So I wrote this white paper. I did a little PR campaign around it. I pushed it out to some media outlets in this tiny little environment or industry. And we ended up getting picked up by the media about this white paper. People came to our website to download the full white paper. That download automatically emailed the CEO, and he saw who was downloading it and started a conversation with eDreams, I believe, in France. And that led to an acquisition from a company in Dubai. It led to a pilot, in San Francisco. Led to a pilot that was successful, and boom, the company got acquired. $0 ever spent in marketing. And so that's really what it's all about. These are just some examples. So I've got 3 minutes, so I'm gonna try and summarize everything. Growth hacking or early stage marketing, it doesn't take a lot of money to grow your business. Most startups that I work with as a consultant, they tell me, oh, we're gonna do marketing after we raise money. But if you're an investor in here, you wanna see traction before you give any money. How does that work? You have to do something to show that people care about your product, that they want to refer other users to your product or your service, and that they come back multiple times. So that takes some form of marketing, and that's what I'm here to teach you about. You've got to start early, and you don't need to have money. It scares me and makes me sad every time I see people run to Facebook and go spend 2,000 euros to try and test to see if their product works. You're gonna get no real data because you're not an expert at running those ads, and it's a drip in the bucket to everyone else advertising on social media, etc. So instead, start your marketing with organic channels, figure out what people like, what they're responding to, what pages on your website or your app, what features, what price points if you're an e-commerce business that people like, and then you can start to layer over that with that small paid budget that you had, and you will scale your business. It's all about leveraging what you have. If you're an early stage company, you might think, we don't have any money for marketing, Andrew, we can't do anything. But maybe you have a large email list. Maybe you have access to an event venue like this. Maybe you have something that you can start to partner with companies that do have access to your customers. So going back to that hacking existing channels, figure out how you can barter with the people who have access to your target demographic. What do you have that you can offer them? You know, sponsorship on your website, something like that. Think about what you have and leverage that. The other thing, like I said, is growth happens when you create more value for that right target. So always be thinking about how can we create more value? How can we make the user experience better? It's not how can we make more money? How can we make more money? You're gonna fail if that's all you're focusing on. And be really aggressive. If you don't know what I mean, come and see me later and I'll teach you about how to be aggressive. And then make decisions based off of data. I mean, so many times I work with a first-time startup founder who's already been successful in his career or her career in other ways, and they go, no, the blogging won't work for us, Andrew, or this won't work. I'm like, did you test it? No? You're stupid. Test it. You've got to test everything and see if it works, if it doesn't. But you test it fast. You don't need to waste a ton of time. Do a little minimally viable test to see. And always, I said it twice, be focused on creating value. Aita. Thanks. In 2 hours, I have another talk downstairs if you want to come and learn more.
Nice one. Bam! I mean, yeah! All right, please, one more round of applause for